When you dive into Beatmaker 3, you can't help but notice those shiny pads in the performance view. This is where you'll find yourself producing beats, rhythms, and sound sequences like those which you see produced on physical drum machines and MIDI controllers like these. In this tutorial, I'll be breaking down a simple, effective way to get started making your sounds and producing your music using the pads in Beatmaker 3. To get started, you'll need to create a new session. Then you'll be directed to a blank pad bank, a pure blank slate, ready for magic to be made. To our left, we have a menu which has sessions, banks, samples, and plugins. In our bank section, which is already open by default, we can see a set of pre-made sound banks that we can play with. To quickly load these sounds onto our pads, all we have to do is select the desired sound kit, then tap the Load Bank button below. Then all of the sounds are loaded instantly to the pads. Now that we have some sounds to play with, we can exit the menu and have access to our main controls and a view of our performance pads. When playing with them, we can use a wide array of tools. At the top, we have our standard recording tools. Here, you can access your tempo, which is how you can choose the speed of your project. Next to that is the metronome, which will make a clicking sound synced with the tempo. You can think of it as a guide for playing on rhythm. Next to that are additional quantization and automation settings. Now, these settings are great for full control over your sounds, but for what we're currently aiming to do, it's just not important to learn how to use these yet, considering the features are a little complex. But don't worry though, we'll get to these much later. At the end of the top toolbar, we have our basic playback buttons, which let us start, stop, record, and loop, and also undo and redo. Remember those, because those will be our best friends. To our left, we have our pad controls like velocity, roll, wheels, scales, and chords. For example, the roll button allows us to cue a sound in a repetitive rhythm set. So if you want to do some simple repetitive patterns, or if you want to go full EDM DJ with that maximum repetition, this tool and others make for a fun way to just add some quick flair to your patterns. Lastly, we can create a new bank by tapping the plus sign next to the A1 label for our current pad bank. With your banks, you start off with 16 pads, but there's also a mode where you can use 64 pads. Some sound packs, for example, utilize this much larger surface of control. To see this in action, let's create a new bank and import a set of sounds that use this real estate. Now we have 16 more pads, but if we tap the 64 button below, we instantly have access to a significantly bigger control surface. We can tap the up and down arrows to the lower right of the screen to lower the field of view and see more of our buttons. Also, important thing to note, each sound when loaded has a color. The blank pads don't have colors. Just important to keep in mind. Okay, so let's just go ahead and make a beat. The first step is to go into the sequencer view and create a loop section on the timeline. Then I need to enable the track that I want to record by tapping the record icon on that specific track. The next step is choosing our tempo, and for this track, I think I'm going to adjust the tempo to about 128 beats per minute. And now we're ready to record something. So I have a beat now, and now I'm going to go into my second bank and add some bass, just to give this more of a foundation. Now I can go back to the sequencer view and see my beat in a recorded pattern, ready to be worked with. And so we have our very first beat. Since we just unpacked a lot, think of what we've covered in 5 steps. Number 1, creating your project and loading sounds. Number 2, deciding on which pad tools you want to use. Number 3, adding desired sound banks of 16 and 64 pads. Number 4, selecting tempo. And number 5, tapping away. With a basic knowledge of these 5 steps, you can really distill the amount of tools, gestures, and even shortcuts down to the simplicity or the complexity of your project, just making for a more balanced workflow all around.